Hi, welcome to Straight Talk. I want to welcome all of our new viewers and know that our goal here is to educate you about the opiate epidemic and drug abuse in general. We'll give out a lot of good information on this show so that you can use it to help somebody that you care about or even yourself if you need it. So we're going to talk a lot today about communities and what communities can do to fight this opiate epidemic. And there's a lot that a community can do. And joining me on the show is Kabir Singh, who is the Chief Operating Officer for Mid-Atlantic of Amatus Health, which is a very big organization. We'll find out in a sec. Who's joining us to talk about the work that he's doing in working with communities. Kabir, welcome.
Thank you, Mike. Thank you for having me.
Appreciate you being here.
Honored to be here with you.
It's a big problem.
Yes.
I know you guys. Tell me about Amatus and what you guys are doing and where you're located. You're all over the place.
Yeah, so Amatus Health overall, we have 10 treatment centers in 4 states. There's 1 in New Hampshire, there's 3 in Maryland, 4 in Ohio, and 2 in Atlanta, Georgia.
In Atlanta.
Mm-hmm. So we currently operate in those spaces, variety of levels of care, variety of different demographics that we serve, and all, to that respect. We have really proud of opening up our most recent location, the 10th one, which is going to be in Hagerstown, Maryland, and that's going to be a 3.5 actually state Medicaid facility, and we're especially proud of that.
And you take everything. Somebody has insurance or they don't, but they have Medicaid from the state.
We do.
You'll take them as well.
Yeah, we do take them. We try to get, so even prior to having that particular center, we like to pride ourselves on our outreach staff being able to navigate anyone to treatment who calls us, be able to help them in their time of need.
And people are watching this show all over the country, and everyone's going through their own issues, whether it's funding, insurance, finding a program, not sure if it's a good program, a lot of questions that people have. But here you guys are reaching out to a vulnerable population.
Yeah.
That people, when you think of a private treatment center, you think, oh, God, it's going to cost me a fortune, I can't afford it, so I can't get help.
Right.
And that's not your philosophy at Amatus.
No, we're trying to break down those barriers, those walls, make treatment accessible to all those who need it. A lot of times they're just calls that family members are making to us, trying to sort out the ins and outs of treatment. There's all sorts of horror stories surrounding treatment centers, and we're trying to identify ourselves as those who have moved above and beyond all that noise and are offering quality treatment throughout our centers. And we have at Amatus Health here just in our backyard, Knowings Mills, we are the backbone to all those 10 treatment centers. We offer all the compliance. We do the billing for them. The HR is really important for us to offer that support to our internal staff because it's taxing work.
I was just going to say, it takes a lot to operate drug treatment centers.
Oh, yeah.
And at the same time, we want to make sure they're good quality. So you have to be certified.
Correct.
By several agencies to certify you, and you're in different states. So it's important, and you want people who are out there looking for a program to look for a good certified program, right?
Yeah. So we do that. Here in Maryland, you have to seek out that third-party accreditation prior to even opening. The state won't even license you. So we have the card for accreditation at all our facilities. That's the commission on our accreditation of rehabilitation facilities.
So people watching from other states, they should make sure that the programs they go to...
Oh, for certain. The 2 prevailing certifying kind of organizations are JCO and CARF. So wherever you go, whether it's one of our treatment centers or elsewhere, you should definitely want to seek out that stamp of approval for certain. Yeah.
Now the opiate epidemic is hitting everybody, everywhere. And now we're seeing cocaine make a comeback, methamphetamine is showing up. I mean, this problem just continues to get worse, and this fentanyl, this deadly drug, seems to be everywhere.
Mike, in the last 24 hours, I've gotten 2 calls.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy what's going on. People are just dying.
Left and right.
Now you're hearing, you guys are in 5 states, give a good barometer of what you hear. It doesn't seem to be getting that much better.
No, it's not. It doesn't seem like the fentanyl related overdoses are certainly on the rise. Wow. In the Washington Post, this past Sunday, it was front page. It actually showed a picture of an overdosing young man in a stairwell in Manchester, which is essentially where our one treatment center in New Hampshire is, and it was talking about the fentanyl scourge.
It's everywhere.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't matter where people are living or how much money they have.
No.
It doesn't discriminate.
They made a large arrest in Hagerstown about 3 weeks ago. Enough fentanyl seized in Hagerstown by this trio that they arrested that killed 1 million people.
Yeah. I mean, think about that. A pinhead full of this will kill you. Mm-hmm. So they can transport it in a little bag, and it would kill a whole city.
The arresting officers and people raiding, officers are raiding these particular places have to wear all sorts of special, and they carry Narcan with them in case they inhale this stuff. It's been known that.
Now, from a treatment perspective, how do you know what's the best treatment?
So I leave that up to the clinicians. I mean, I'm not a clinician myself. I am a certified peer recovery specialist at CPRS in the state of Maryland. There are probably about 150 of us throughout the state. I have been one since 2014.
What does it say, peer?
Certified peer recovery specialist. So in 2013, the state started to offer that credentialing. It was already being offered in other states. It's starting to become recognized as another kind of spoke in the wheel for treatment. Kind of takes one to know one type of thing. So I'm a recipient of treatment services myself. So I know what it's like, and I've been through that process. So becoming a certified peer recovery specialist in the state of Maryland is a variety of things: 500 hours in the field, some supervision, some class hours and things like that, and then a state exam. And then you can become a certified peer specialist.
And what does that allow you? What do peer specialists do?
So prior to working at Amatus Health, I worked at an organization in Montgomery County called Cornerstone Montgomery. They serve the more severe and persistent mentally ill. And so I worked on an ACT team, assertive community treatment team. And on that team, there's a psychiatrist, there's a certified peer recovery specialist, there's a social worker, you could be a nutritionist, a variety of different things that make up that wraparound service. And we go and seek out the most vulnerable. So it was not uncommon for me to go out and meet someone in a tent to make sure that they were taking their medications and stuff like that. And I was usually the most relatable. It was easy to relate.
So you have a lot of people in recovery who are helping to give back.
Oh yeah. Baltimore has so of those about 150 certified peer recovery specialists, most of them are within the limits of Baltimore County and the city. They're mostly located here.
It's something that I like to on the show is to let people know, because people are watching from all over the country, to know that they should look that up. They should call their health departments and see if they have peer specialists, peer recovery specialists. It sounds like an amazing thing. A lot of people want to give back, but they don't know how.
I don't know how.
And this is a great avenue to be able to.
It's a great avenue, and it's attainable, Mike.
Yeah.
It's not some sort of long graduate study, and it makes sense, and it's
and they
highly
probably
effective.
make some of our best counselors, I'll bet.
It's highly effective. Yeah.
Okay, we're going to take a little break. We're talking to Kabir Singh from Amatus Health. We're hearing about the programs they provide, and we're going to come back and talk about local advisory councils. What can a neighborhood, what can a community do to wrap around and make a statement to do something about this opiate epidemic? So stay with us. We're coming right back to Straight Talk.
Who helps a hero? Who tells the story of their scars? The freedom and safety of so many, of us all, is earned by the sacrifices of so few. Who helps a hero? We all do. The Gary Sinise Foundation works to support America's defenders and strengthen their families through entertainment, the construction of smart homes for our wounded heroes, and by inspiring and educating others to also support the veterans within their own communities. We enjoy the benefits of their sacrifice and service each day. Now it's time we serve them. Find out how you can help our heroes at GarySiniseFoundation.org. While we can never do enough to show our gratitude to our nation's defenders, we can always do a little more.
Calls me googly eyes.
You know you're beautiful, right? You know that?
Even you are beautiful. got bullied for wearing glasses. Share if you're against bullying.
We put it out there, just took off. 3 million people have shared this post. Don't let bullies get you down. I stand with you. Our whole family's wearing glasses. I wear glasses and I'm proud.
I even have the army on my team.
All the kind comments brought my child joy. I don't feel thank you is enough.
That's
Hi, welcome back to Straight Talk. We're talking about the opiate epidemic, we're talking about treatment, we're talking about resources, and we're talking with Kabir Singh, who is the Chief Operating Officer with Amatus Health. And they provide a lot of services. We'll be putting their website up during the show so that you'll know how to access them. They'll help you get help. If they can't provide it, they'll tell you where you can go and get help. And that's what it's all about. So, Kabir, let's keep our talking, because we talk about communities mobilizing about this epidemic. I think a lot of people feel helpless and hopeless, that what can we do? It's so bad, it's so horrible. But I know you're working with a group that put together an advisory committee. And I want to talk about that because it sounds like it's something that neighborhoods or communities can do anywhere in the country.
Yes.
If they have this little model. So
Right.
Tell me about this advisory council out of Montgomery County, Maryland.
Correct. You're exactly right, Mike. So community councils, committees, they offer the community a platform to really have their voice. And so in Montgomery County, the county executive probably a little bit over 80, underneath 90 different councils and committees. Some are concerned with, the trees and water runoff into the Chesapeake Bay. The particular council that I sit on is called the Alcohol and Other Drug Abuse Advisory Council. It's a real long, AODAC is what we call it. And so we serve to the delight of the county executive, and we advise on all things surrounding prevention, treatment, access to treatment, and we try to, of course, have a vision of having Montgomery County be drug-free. That's a grand vision, although,
But that's a goal we should have for every county.
I agree, and we make a lot of steps, and then
Right.
sometimes those steps turn into strides, and we've done really, really powerful things there. So we meet every month. That particular council, which I sit on, is made up of community stakeholders.
Now, let's go over these players, because
Okay.
I want people out there to know that what they can do in their neighborhood, because you're talking
Who's showing
the
up
players.
at the table, right? Yeah.
Who are the players?
So you have folks that are coming from, in Montgomery County, the Department of Liquor Control is big time. I mean, they control all the liquor, so they're a voice to be had at the table.
Right.
They got a lot of input, and it's concerning alcohol and intake. They got a lot of stats and stuff. They aggregate all that information, so they're important to have at the table. But equally important are the Board of Education, correctional services, law enforcement. Then we have a variety of, I actually represent, you're voted in by the county executive. So I'm what's called a voting member, and then there's a public component. So anyone from the public can show up. But there's voting members as well that show up there. There's an attorney, there's a doctor there who specializes in addiction. So there's a lot of appropriate voices. There's a former professor from Montgomery College, which is the local public community college there. And then, a few attorneys. Got to have some attorneys there, right?
Yeah, well, you never know when you need an attorney.
Yeah, yep. And so it allows everyone to get together, collaborate, go over what the current needs are of the county. Then during that, it's a 3-hour meeting, so it goes from some 6 to 9 o'clock. The public part is from 7 to 9. And we have a variety of folks that come in from the county who are offering services. There's one that I'll give a shout out to. It's called The Landing. It's an after-school program. I know you're a big fan of those. So the at-risk youth that go to The Landing for a variety of a safe place to go. They were one of the visitors that we had with this last calendar year, and they come in. And then, so through that organic process and then presenting to us, we have questions that come about, and we look to seek out how we can help them or advise the county executive to perhaps divert funds or consider something of the like.
Talk about, I mean, now you're talking about what makes up a community. Schools, police, you know, local attorneys, doctors. I mean, you're talking about a neighborhood.
Yeah.
Talking about a community.
Yeah.
Now, you bring them together to talk about one issue, about addictions and about substance abuse, and then you've got county agencies that are paid to provide these services and private agencies that are doing it. Talk about the value of having this gathering where I guess the left hand can learn what the right hand is doing.
So the value overall is just to understand, and take for example, the person that I represent. I'm the individual in recovery for Montgomery County. So I'm somebody that the recovery community can come to if they want to, if they don't choose not to show up themselves, to be a voice for them. So we keep our finger really on the pulse of what's going on. A lot of what we go over are stats from the previous month or possibly the last year. Depends on how those are being gathered or compiled to understand where the county's headed and what direction, where are the gaps in services, how do we fulfill certain needs that need to be filled by the public, what they're currently looking at.
So having all the players there, you know, an issue comes up about the schools.
Correct.
They're there. They're at the table. They're right there.
Correct.
Something comes up about police. They're sitting there.
They're sitting there.
So you can really deal with these issues in a community
Correct.
where you don't have to worry about, well, you go meet with them and then come back, because this is a crisis. This is an epidemic.
Right.
You know, we need to deal with this, and we need those players to play their role.
And by having those players at the table with all the different voices and input, it's not some sort of binary, you know, outlook and input on where we need to head. One of the finer accomplishments we made recently in the last year was to advocate for a new Avery Road Treatment Center. Avery Road Treatment Center is a well-known treatment center there in Montgomery County. It serves those who don't have insurance and those who have state insurance, and there's a small allocation for private beds. When I was there in 2009, the one and only time I've been to treatment so far, it needed help then, and that was in 2009. You know, kind of leaky ceilings and things like that. So Montgomery County built this fabulous animal shelter, millions of dollars, and then the community was up in arms. We got this treatment center that's got like holes in the roof. And so we were instrumental in advocating to the county executive and setting forth some momentum in that, along with this organization called the Tree of Hope organization as well. And so the governor was out there, county executive, the former county executive, Ike Leggett, was there in a groundbreaking ceremony last fall, and a new state-of-the-art facility is on the way, and we're really proud of that.
Yeah, yeah. Well, again, that shows what an advisory council can do.
Yep.
Now, it sounds like the way it works is that the county executive, the chief elected official of whatever county or city may be, appoints the key players. So it really is official.
Yes.
You know, it really does, and they have goals and a purpose to meet. It just isn't, you know, well, let's meet or let's not meet. I mean, it sounds like it's formally set up.
Oh, yes.
Now, again, you would recommend that to any community.
Oh, yeah. 100%. It is a necessity, especially right now. I mean, we're talking about fighting this opioid epidemic. It is certainly something that's needed in every community, whether it's official or not. Official's great, Mike. I mean, don't get me wrong. Endorsed by the county executive, but grassroots is good too. If we can get together and start a force within our own communities, and you know, if we get noticed by the officials and the big players, even better.
All right. We're talking with Kabir Singh, Chief Operating Officer at Amatus Health. We're putting their number up if you need help. That's what the show's all about, is getting you help. When we come back, we're going to continue our talk about resources, how to mobilize your community. So stay with us. We're coming right back to Straight Talk.
Your daughter just had her first breakup. Do you A, put yourself in her shoes, B, console her,
Don't worry, sweetie. This is gonna happen a lot.
or C, find her a new boyfriend?
Nice single boys. Oh, was weird.
As a parent, there are no perfect answers. But you don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
It's a short ride from your neighborhood to your naturehood. Find fun activities to do, like boating and biking, or camping and hiking, plus much more. To find a neighborhood park or green space near you, visit discovertheforest.org. Don't allow your weight to threaten your health or control your future. Excess weight or obesity can cause emotional and physical health risks. But you can take control. The Your Weight Matters campaign offers free resources and tips to help you measure and understand your weight. Take the Your Weight Matters Challenge. The free toolkit prepares you to speak with a healthcare provider about your weight. Your weight does matter. Take the challenge and take control today.
Hi, welcome back to Straight Talk. We're talking about the opiate epidemic. We're talking about resources, what you can do in your community to mobilize, and how you can get people help, because that's really where it's at right now. We've got to help a lot of people who are out there because it is really affecting our families. And joining me to help guide us through this is Kabir Singh, who is the Chief Operating Officer, Operations Officer at Amatus Health, who provides a lot of services in 4 or 5 different states, and their website's going up in case you need any help. Kabir, you talked about this advisory council, talked about services of helping people. When we see what this does to a family, any level of addiction, it destroys a family.
Destroys.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
Talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, the ripple effect of what happens, even families and friends, Mike, what happens is destructive. I mean, the corrosive effect of addiction throughout our communities, what happens in the schools and the families, it just tears people apart. The lasting kind of, after overdoses, let's talk about the fatalities. The fatalities are at numbering in near, I think the last count is 191 a day,
yeah.
And it keeps going up. What happens, the fallout for that? You have children that are left behind without parents. You got parents that are left without, that are bearing children. In the reverse order, it's not supposed to happen that way. And it's happening at an astounding rate. And I don't really know what's going to be the impetus to stop it, other than getting the word out, making treatment accessible, education, which I know you're big on. That's half the reason why we're here. Yeah. We want to let the public know. But it destroys in ways that are so elaborate and complex, what it causes mental health-wise to the people who are left behind to deal with that, and the therapies involved in that. And it just goes on and on. It's like the stone in the pond. The ripple effect just,
Even the early stages of addiction, no matter what it is. We hear a lot about parents who's, right now with kids, marijuana is like so big.
Yeah.
And maybe it's a gateway to something else. But parents are even struggling with that and what that does to a family. Or you have a kid who's drinking too much. It impacts the whole family.
Impacts the whole family. That's very true. And the validation that's going on with the whole cannabis movement, the seemingly legalization or normalization of it is alarming.
Yeah, and it's sending a bad message to kids because they think it's a cool thing. At Amatus, and in your experience from the treatment field, what's the best kinds of programs for families? When that person in the family goes into treatment, whoever it is, a spouse, a child, what role should that family play, and what should the people out there look for in a program that provides something for families?
So any quality treatment program, whether you come to one of our treatment centers underneath the Amatus Health umbrella or otherwise, should have a strong family component because it's a family disease. Both separately and together. A treatment center should hopefully integrate the family. And it's not always possible, Mike. You know, there's a whole complexity of privacy issues. If the client doesn't even sign a release from the outset, and you're kind of, held to that, and you can't really involve the family. But where and when possible, the family should be invited in for family sessions, and then separately at our treatment center, we have one in Gaithersburg called Fresh Start Recovery Center. We have a family group periodically that happens outside of the treatment center hours. It's free. It actually. Anyone can come to it. You didn't have to be a recipient of our services, and that's open, and it's a process group, and it's for families to get together. Parents usually is what it is, who are in all sorts of different stages of their own recovery, and recovery is the key word here.
Yeah. So no matter where you are, if you're getting someone into treatment, you're looking at that program. We talked earlier about making sure they're certified, legitimate program. Would you also recommend that they have a good family program?
100%. At a minimum, there should be some sort of schedule of sessions that are either going to take place with couples. Oftentimes you have a spouse that's sitting on the outside. They're relieved to drop their other half at treatment, but they want to...
They're going home.
Yeah, they're going
to go home eventually.
Right, they're going to go home eventually, and there's a lot of damage that's been done along the way. And so to hopefully gather up some tools while the one's in treatment and the other one's at home waiting for, what traditionally has been waiting for the other shoe to drop. Oh, they're going to come back home again in a whirlwind and a tornado. And so hopefully both sides develop some sort of tool.
Are going through that process. Well, listen, Kabir, thank you so much.
My pleasure.
Trying to educate. That's our goal, everybody. We want to educate you about the opiate epidemic, the drug epidemic, so that you're armed with information, knowledge about what to do, and you don't feel helpless. If you know somebody that has a problem, please call, get them help. Amatus Health is a great program. They're available, and if they're not in your area, call them anyway. They'll hook you up with a program that's close to you, and it's really important. I want to thank Kabir, thank Amatus Health for letting you be here and helping us. I want to thank all of you for watching. And please, again, if you know somebody who needs help, make that phone call. Thank you for watching Straight Talk, and we'll see you next time.
If you or someone you know is struggling with addiction, reach out to us. We are available 24 hours a day. Visit us online at amatusrecoverycenters.com or call anytime at 833-754-9297.